1.1 is now here in Juno, New Origins. Sorry for not making an update video of 1.0. I didn't get to do it because I had to factory reset my phone because I forgot my new phone pin, but because I did a factory reset, I lost footage of the 1.0 video and also the tech tree video. But I planned everything before the factory reset so I can still do things smoothly. The tech tree video is suspended for now, but stay tuned for that video. It's coming soon, but we should now focus on the video. We have a lot of things to cover in this video. Now, let me explain the features for you, and let's get to the video. 1. Drood Puppeteering. Drood Puppeteering is a new feature that lets you attach hands, feet, elbows, or knees to a part and act like he's grabbing something or have some fun by playing with it. To do it, select the chair, go to its part properties, and then select one of 8 limb targets. Select a part for it to grab. And then, you're good to go. There's also a snap range that tells you how far the selected object is before the limb forgets that it's grabbing it and returns to its resting position. To ungrab the selected part, press the limb target you used to grab that part, and it's back to its resting position. This feature is useful for making your droods just dance, do exercise, ride vehicles and drive them, or it could let them control your craft, your plane, your rocket, or even your jetpack. 2. New game mode. There's a new game mode called Hybrid. It's simply career and sandbox mixed together. To access it, make a new game. Career mode's the default. Press career mode. It will take you to 2 career mode types, career and hybrid. Select hybrid. Press select. And then press OK. And now, you're in career mode with infinite money, infinite tech points, and no limit to how many active crafts you can have. Tinker panel can also be accessed here. The tech tree is also fully unlocked. We can see that you can unlock the landing gear earlier than last version. We can also see that Evelyn and Chuck are now our customers earlier than usual. In hybrid mode, it's because they put tourism, rescue, and space station contracts at the start of the game. To test the contract, they even have the test tag. All launch locations are unlocked too. Let's launch a craft here at Olipad. You can see that the game also has cheats enabled. Speaking of cheats, 3 cheats. In earlier versions, we can actually access cheats, but some of the cheats can only be accessed in the dev console, in the settings, or even in the flight info in 1.0, but now all the cheats can be accessed in the flight info. To access them, go to flight info, and then go down to options and press it. If options is already showing info, you don't have to do anything. And now, you can see the cheats. The first cheat is infinite fuel. It actually has slightly different mechanics than other games with it, like Spaceflight Simulator. In Spaceflight Simulator, when infinite fuel is enabled, the fuel stays at 100% the entire time. But if infinite fuel is turned on here, in Juno, New Origins, fuel doesn't stay at 100%. It's just going to make us think, like, this infinite fuel is a scam. But something's gonna happen after this. Rocket runs out of fuel. The engine is still running after the rocket ran out of fuel. Actually, infinite fuel for. This game was made so that engines and electronics keep running even if their fuel or power source runs out. We'll talk about teleport and set speed later. And we also already know what physical damage and heat damage do. Drag scale is used to adjust the amount of drag applied to a craft obviously. If set to 0%, we can reach faster speeds in the atmosphere faster. Just look. Well, that was fast. And of course, gravity scale determines if we will fall slower or faster. 0% equals no gravity, obviously. But if we set it to 1000%, we're just going to fall faster, and we will actually accelerate to a very high speed before crashing. Of course, speed varies with altitude and drag. You can also press the percentage and edit the value. Remember, 1 is equal to 100%. Teleport, obviously, lets you teleport somewhere. If you don't target something, it will let you teleport up. If you put a negative number like -1000, it will take you down 1000 meters. Set speed obviously sets how fast you are going. A negative speed will make you go retrograde. If you target a structure or a craft, you have to type how high you want to be from the structure or craft if you want to teleport to it. And here you are near your destination. If you target another planet, you should type some coordinates and how high you want to be to teleport there. And then you're free to explore. You can't teleport to a craft or structure in a planet other than the planet you are in. So you have to teleport to the planet first, before you can teleport to the structure or craft, or try to know the coordinates of the structure or the craft you're targeting. Copy them and then teleport. Wait a second, the whole craft's restored? How? Anyways, moving on to the next features. 4 new parts. We're seeing a lot of propellers here. Anyways, let's see their descriptions. Explorer prop. A set of powerful lightweight blades, perfect for vertical takeoff and landing. Skyline prop. Your classic civilian small aircraft. Propeller, suited for the early crafts that require well-rounded performance for cheap. Interceptor prop. A large propeller perfect for large aircraft. A couple of these will provide the thrust you need to get things going. Strider prop. Modern and efficient blades ideal for long range flight. Just make sure you keep your fingers away from it. Vortex prop. A small boat propeller. The oceans are yours now. Well, more like lakes, but you get the point. Riptide prop. A large boat propeller for long-range trips and huge ships made of heavy steel, so get a hold of a beefy motor for them. Ball. Just a simple ball. 5. Info about propellers. Propellers are new parts that let you build your very first plane, very first helicopter, or very first boat. It's also very procedural. These are the settings you can use to modify the part and use it for your craft. Blade count. The amount of blades your propeller will have obviously. Size. Adjusts the size of the whole propeller. Also obvious. Blade width. Determines how pointy you want the blades to be. The lowest setting is the pointiest. Hub scale determines how big or small you want the hub to be obviously. Blade control determines if the blade pitch stays at a certain angle or if it could be adjusted with a slider. Pitch determines the blade pitch. If blade control is set to manual, it now determines the maximum blade pitch. Reverse blades reverses the direction of the blades. Obviously recommended when your craft has two propellers with no tail rotor and you want to make your craft steady. Auto reverse motor reverses the direction of the propellers after setting the throttle to 0. Not recommended for planes since it speeds up your fall, but it's recommended for boats so that they can stop. There's also a lot of styles to choose for the blades and the hub. It can be damaged by spinning too fast or the blades hitting something. Propellers also have a realistic blur effect that happens even when it's paused. The addition of propellers also added 6. A new part category. Now, a new part category was added. Based on aeronautics, it has a plane icon. Its name is aeronautics. Not really surprising. It has every part needed to build a plane. It has all of the new propellers. The wing, the fin, all of the jet engines and the inlet. Let's move on to the next big feature. 7. Overhauled sounds of electric motor and wheels. The sounds of these parts have been overhauled. Let's listen to the electric motor first. Now let's move on to the wheel sounds. The wheels have a new sound. It changes when it goes to the concrete road or when it goes off-road. Take a listen. The concrete and off-road sounds are actually different if you listen closely. These were nice sounds. Let's move to the next feature. 7.5. New settings to the electric motor. These are the 2 new settings for the electric motor. Throttle governor. When enabled, the motor input can act as an RPM selector and motor throttle will be adjusted to maintain the desired RPM. RPM clamp acts as a limit to how fast the motor can spin, and if you haven't noticed, they put Newton meters beside the force value. 8. Organized launch tab. The launch tab has been organized in this version instead of being a long list of things to do like tutorials or challenges. We will see 4 things after clicking launch: Launchcraft, Build Craft, Tutorials, and Challenges. When you tap it, you will have an option to view all the challenges. And then you can select a challenge to do and you're good to go. Pressing tutorials will also give you the option to view its contents. You can see that you have the to classic tutorials as well as some new tutorials that are tutorials for certain contracts. In career mode, these are useful for helping you learn a lot more things before starting to play than in previous versions of the game. 9. Intra-craft docking. 1.1 has added intra-craft docking in Juno New Origins. But what's intra-craft docking? Intra-craft docking is simply just docking a docking port on a craft to another docking port on the same craft. This is helpful in making realistic docking ports and crazy contraptions. possible to build. It's also helpful when you have a robotic arm on a craft and you have good fingers so that you don't have to undock the payload to grapple it. It's also helpful in making shuttle replica missions more realistic because you can grapple the payload while it's still attached to the shuttle, unlike previous versions of the game. Right now, I just docked Letif with the end of the arm while the payload's still attached to the shuttle. Here's proof. Now, if I undock this port, the arm can move the payload freely. 10. New planned burn options. If you try to make a planned burn, you will be greeted with 6 options. You can now warp to that certain part of the orbit. It's kind of a counterpart to SFS and KSP's version of warp here. You also have options to make a planned burn at the apoapsis or periapsis so that you don't have to tap at the right place of the orbit closest to the periapsis or the apoapsis, and so that you can make picture-perfect orbits. You also have the option to make the planned burn at the ascending or descending node. It's so that you can make your inclination a perfect 0 degrees. Or you could just make your planned burn right here. If you have a target and you put a planned burn on where the encounter is, you will get 4 more options. You can make a planned burn at the ascending and descending node of the target, although I don't know if it actually does something. You also have options to show or hide the encounter info of the target or your craft. If you tap the closest approach info icons, you have the options to show or hide the encounter info of your craft or your target also. Although I don't know the use of having 2 target infos at once, but at least it may save time for trying to tap the icon to show encounter info. 10.5. Choosing something. When icons overlap. When icons of structures, crafts, and planets overlap, instead of searching in the search bar or zooming in somewhere to find an object, you can tap on the overlapping icons to choose a planet, a craft, or a structure that you're trying to find. Useful for trying to target something or trying to control a craft. Let's go to the next feature. 11. A new way to rename a craft. In map info, there's a new pencil icon beside the focus button. It's the new rename craft button. It lets you rename your crafts in flight. You can also rename other crafts. That's a nice new feature to have.
Didn't you comment on a Deep Space Industries video saying that you know how to rename a craft before 1.1 became a beta?
Oh yeah, before 1.1, to edit a craft's name in flight, you had to go to the search bar, look for the craft you want to rename, and then you have to press the pencil icon beside the name of that craft, and then you're good to go. You can rename the craft to any name you want. I don't know why the feature was added in map info, but it's an easier way to rename a craft in flight. That's a cool feature. Next feature please. 12. GUI position saving. Well, turns out, unlike PC, we can't resize the GUI, but I still have something to say in this part of the video. The positions of GUI can be saved in between game sessions. It's really minor, but I'll still tell you what it does. I just put the flight info to a different position. To test the feature, I made a quick save. Now, let's load the quick save. It's still in the position I put it in. Now, we have to reset the position. To reset the GUI to its old position, you have to press the Reset UI References button. Press OK, obviously. Press Quick Load if you have a quick save that you recently made. Relaunch or retry the flight after pressing End Flight to see the effects the fastest. And it's back to its current position. 13. Blocks made resizable. The block's counterpart, the ball, came with the ability to be resizable. That was a nice part to add. But what happened to the block? It's still not resizable, is it? Well, it just made sense to give the block this feature since it was one of the most useless parts, so they made it to be resizable, but it can only be resized by a slider, just like its counterpart, the ball. But I don't know if it's still going to be one of the most useless parts or not because of this feature. We'll see. 14. Crew transfer. Now, when you go to the crew menu, you will see a new button beside the EVA button of a crew member. It's the new crew transfer button. Tapping it will make another command. Pod connected to your capsule be surrounded with blue light. It means you can transfer your crew member to that command pod. If a fuel tank's between them, your crew member can't move to the other command pod for obvious reasons. If you have found a compatible command pod to transfer crew to, then the next step is to select it. Go to crew. You have the choice to cancel the crew transfer or move your crew here, and then your crew member is in that capsule now. These are the list of parts that can still make the other crew capsule compatible to move your crew to. 15. RCS Manual Input. Right now, I can control the RCS with my analog sticks, but if I go back to Designer and turn on the new button called Manual Input, it makes a new drop-down menu. We'll just set our input to slider 1. We can see that we can fire the RCS using slider 1 obviously. I can't control it using the analog sticks. It's only rotating using its gyro. I can only control the nozzles using slider 1, not any slider else. And last but not least, 16. Camera dirt effect. The camera dirt effect happens when you look at a bright light like an explosion to make a bit more realism. But where does the dirt actually come from? Is it from dirt in the sky? And now you have reached the end of this video. I would say this is one nice update. I mean, we got easier to access cheats, new propellers, and now we can play around with the Droods more. With limb manipulation, I also did have things that I didn't get to cover like the raycast because of me not knowing how to code the raycast. The devs did a great job into making this update. Thanks, devs! If you like this video, press the like button and also, please, subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.